Let's talk a little bit more about the foot. So as I've mentioned to you, the foot kind of goes through this motion of supination to pronation, and then as we go into heel off and toe off, we go back into supination. Now, if you were just to stand, take your shoes off, and just stand and simply rotate your body around. So just rotate yourself from left to right, just kind of doing this motion right here. And you were to watch your foot, you'd notice as I rotated to my right foot would supinate out. And as I rotated to the left, my right foot would pronate inward, right? You're mimicking walking. You're essentially mimicking walking because think about what's happening in walking. Your hips are rotating. Well, I'm just rotating your hips and it's creating a reactive force at the foot. Now let's think about your shoe, all right? You have some problems with the shoe. So if you look at a traditional shoe, on the medial side of the shoe, where the big arch is, sometimes you put an arch support in there. And you think about your arch, your foot is shaped like this, the arch, right? And the beautiful thing about an arch is that it's designed to take a lot of load. In other words, if you put a lot of load on top of this arch, it's pretty strong, it can sustain that. You push upwards, this arch can easily collapse. Now let's think about the shoe and how you're walking. So when you go into supination, when your foot, anytime your foot rolls out, the shoe allows that to happen. There's no impediment from the shoe. And your foot can naturally supinate. But now think about when your foot is coming over into pronation. Your foot wants to flatten. That arch is supposed to flatten as the foot pronates. Why? Because we're stretching out all this tissue on the medial surface to absorb that reactive force, but also to harness all that potential energy so we can transfer it into kinetic energy. We have a problem. You have an arch that's preventing that foot from flattening out naturally. And it's doing what? Pushing from the underside. So it's progressively weakening the arch. Take your hands and just kind of create that motion right there. You can see how this is that arch, right? Now that should be self-sustaining. I should be using muscles on the underside of my foot to hold that position. That is to hold everything upright, keep that second and third metatarsal heads up. But if I take a shoebox and the shoebox is too tight, the shoebox is compressing, I can force that position right there. So I can get the same effect, but I'm not doing it with my own muscles. I'm doing it with the compression of the shoe, which means over time, these muscles on the underside are going to get weak. And you take the shoe away, and the foot just flattens out. So you can see the problem with the shoe. When we heel strike, remember, reactive forces and gravity's forces are going vertical. And what's happening is these bones are designed to kind of move and do what? Have a little bit of movement in this vertical plane. But now I take your foot and I put it into a elevated shoe. My ankle doesn't move, but I put yourself into this position. Now what I've done is your bones are no longer aligned vertically. I've gone into this position where your bones are kind of aligned in this plane. So now when you're heel striking, because you're wearing an elevated platform like a stiletto or something like that, ladies, you're hitting, all right, the natural movement of the reactive force that allows the bones to move this way is no longer allowed to happen. Why? Because the bones can't move along their articulating surfaces. Why? Because their articulating surfaces are no longer this way. They're now at an angle this way, which means the bones are just compressing against each other.